Academy Award night in the entertainment capital of the world, Los Angeles, California. And tonight we bring you an Academy Award nominee and possibly the two biggest stars in movies today. Anthony Hopkins, the Oscar nominee for Best Actor in the most terrifying thriller of the year, The Silence of the Lambs. We went to London to talk with Anthony Hopkins, and his personal story is a thriller too. And what would you say to Tom Cruise and Michelle Pfeiffer? All the men on our staff were flipping over her, all the women were crazy about him, but most people don't know what either is really like. Well, tonight, Tom Cruise opens up as I don't think he ever has before. And the dazzling Michelle Pfeiffer said to us, look, I'm tired of dodging interviews. Ask me anything. And I did. So, Anthony Hopkins, Tom Cruise, Michelle Pfeiffer. If you were making a movie, you couldn't ask for a better cast. Stay with us.
The Barbara Walters Special, brought to you by the makers of Lincoln Town Car, Continental, and Mark 7. Lincoln, what a luxury car should be. And Tylenol. Caring isn't just what we do, it's who we are.
For so many years now, Tylenol and all the products that carry the Tylenol name have been there. Because caring isn't just what we do, it's who we are.
Someone to watch over me.
Many believe it was the innovative spirit of Europe that inspired him. And when Mr. Ford came home, he created Lincoln Continental. Today, with computerized suspension, electronic transmission, and anti-lock brakes, Continental is one of the most advanced automobiles in the world. Lincoln Continental, what a luxury car should be.
Someone said recently that my hair is so gorgeous, she wants it. I'm not one to hold back. I told her exactly how to get it. Preferenced by L'Oreal. It gives me glorious, shining color and conditions like crazy. I think being direct is a virtue. And the most direct way to beautiful hair is to say, and don't be shy about it, I'm worth it. Very good.
Rich Conditioning Preference by L'Oreal.
Keds introduces weightlifting shoes. Keds, they feel good. Keds introduces ballet shoes. Keds, they feel good.
On the next Good Morning America, catch all the highlights of the Academy Awards.
Chantal's Winners Roundup and Joel Siegel talks with the stars.
Join us here on the next Good Morning America.
I love you, baby, and if it's quite all right, I need you, baby. To warm the lonely night, I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say
If you were going to build your own movie star, you'd probably first see to it that she had a face no moviegoer could possibly forget. A good body would also be nice. A great singing voice wouldn't hurt. And then, of course, you'd make certain she had enough raw acting talent to surpass all of the above. Michelle Pfeiffer was built to last. She was born into the fun and sun lifestyle of Orange County, California, 33 years ago. Her father's heating and air conditioning business supported her mother, older brother, and two younger sisters. Michelle hung out at the beach and traveled with the in crowd.
Hi, my name is Michelle Pfeiffer. I live in Midway City and I represent Orange County. Thank you.
After several odd jobs, she decided to act. She heard that Hollywood talent scouts frequented beauty pageants, so reluctantly she pulled herself into a swimsuit and won Miss Orange County and Miss Photogenic at the state pageant. Her first speaking part came in 1978 on the television series Fantasy Island. She had one line.
Who is he, Naomi?
You've probably never seen her early work, TV series like Bad Cats and Delta House, and Michelle is probably grateful that you haven't. The experience convinced her that she should fight tooth and nail to never again be the jiggle in some producer's fantasy. Her first real break came in 1982.
With a cool rider, a cool rider.
In Grease 2, the sequel to the hit movie Grease, Michelle got nice reviews and proved she could move.
They don't know what I'm looking for, they don't know what I need.
But it was Scarface, opposite Al Pacino, that took her off the starlet track and opened the door to more serious work.
How dare you talk to me like that? What makes you so much better than me?
All she needed now was the right starring role. It came 5 years later.
This is none of my business, and I totally don't even know what's going on here or anything. But it seems to me this is getting a little out of hand.
Married to the Mob put her on the short list of bankable female stars. The Brooklyn accent, the comic timing, and then the same year, a Best Supporting Actress nomination for Dangerous Liaisons. Was there anything in which she didn't excel?
A lot of shoes, a lot of rice. The groom is nervous, he answers twice.
Apparently not. Her portrayal of the streetwise nightclub singer Susie Diamond in The Fabulous Baker Boys wowed everyone, and Michelle got another Oscar nomination, this time for Best Actress.
I'm Johnny.
Hi.
Who are you?
Frankie.
Michelle is a gambler. Critics screamed that she was too beautiful to play a lovesick waitress in Frankie and Johnny, but she confounded them all with a powerhouse performance. And as they say, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Meow.
Michelle Pfeiffer is a sensuous, sinister Catwoman. She insists that the upcoming, sure-to-be-a-blockbuster film, Batman Returns, is her most demanding role to date.
To destroy Batman, we must first turn him into what he hates the most. Namely, us.
As for her personal life, Michelle was married for 6 years to 30-something star Peter Horton and has now been in the company of actor Fisher Stevens for nearly 3 years. In addition to Batman Returns, her upcoming projects include an interracial love story entitled Love Field and The Age of Innocence, which will be directed by Martin Scorsese. Making movies is something she does naturally. Giving interviews is not. She is widely considered the most private star in Hollywood. Who says you can't cook?
My boyfriend.
She has the self-conscious manner of a woman who has been stared at a little too long and a little too often. Under it all is an extremely bright woman who'd love to simply do her movies and walk through shopping malls unnoticed. It's never going to happen, and I think she now knows it. One of the things that I have read that you've said again and again about acting is, I could quit tomorrow. I think about quitting every day.
I think about quitting every day, but I
Really?
couldn't quit tomorrow.
Why do you think about quitting?
Because it's not a cut and dry profession. It's very, it tampers with your emotions. It tampers with your life. I am public property. I'm public domain. Even if you stopped acting, you can't stop being famous. It's not going to go away. So get over it.
How do you get over it?
You just do. You just
force
do.
yourself.
And
You say, I will do that interview with Barbara Walters, even if I don't want to do that interview, right?
Well, suddenly I said to myself, I knew you were going to ask me this. And I said to myself, well, she can ask you just about anything, but you don't have to answer her. I thought, well, that's a novel idea. You don't have to say anything you don't want to. So,
What could I ask you that you wouldn't want to answer?
just about anything.
I see. All right, so far so good.
But you've done okay.
Okay. I heard a story recently that a friend of yours was very ill and dying, and an ambulance came, and the ambulance driver asked you for your autograph. That kind of thing must be hard.
That was probably, that's as bad as it gets. But that was really, see, I've done a lot of complaining, and I've decided that's not a good thing.
In interviews?
Yeah, and actually, my boyfriend's mother said to me one day, who was there, and she said, you know, if you would sometime just tell a story like what happened to you, then you wouldn't come across as such a whiner and people would understand.
I know what you mean by the whining, because you haven't done a lot of interviews, but in the ones that I do, you are always complaining, I hate to do this, I won't do it, what, you know.
I thought, well, I can't do that anymore. You have to really, literally make up lists for yourself and say, okay, these are the things I cannot change, so get over it. Now, these are the things I can change.
Perfect. What things can't you change? What things can you change?
Well, I can't change that I have to travel in a very complicated way. There are many people in my life right now. I don't like a lot of people, particularly in my life, making decisions, knowing my business, but I can't do it all myself.
Okay, those are the things you can't change. What can you change?
I don't have to go to some dinner I don't want to go, you know. I don't have to go to some secret party. I don't have to. I don't have to do this interview really if I don't want to. Those kinds of things.
You turned down the role that Jodie Foster took in The Silence of the Lambs. She was nominated for an Academy Award. Why'd you turn it down?
That was really a difficult decision, but I got nervous about the subject matter.
Are you sorry now that you turned it down? When we were reading about you, you grew up in Southern California, and there was a quote from one of your old teachers who said, she was the sunshine surfer beach girl.
I was a beach girl. I don't know, the sunshine part of it, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, that's where I spent most of my time.
On the beach? Easy, nice, happy childhood?
I was always a little dramatic.
Yeah.
A little slightly dark in temperament. I've become lighter, but it's not my nature.
What did you think you were going to do?
I thought that I would become a stenographer.
That's a nice...
I actually went to school to do that for a year.
At one point, when you were having different jobs, you were a checkout girl in a supermarket. When did you know that you wanted to act?
It was actually when I was checking, and I was having a very bad day at work, and I was not happy.
In the checkout counter?
In the checkout counter, yes.
Too many bags and boxes.
Yeah, I basically just asked myself what I wanted to do. I'd had so many jobs at that point, and it was acting. I was never a real academic kind of person, and it was the only thing that I really loved, and I was not in school much, actually, and it was one class that I went to.
Did you graduate from high school?
The irony of it is I graduated in 3 years with honors.
Can you imagine? You could have made something of yourself, Michelle, if you'd only
you know
finished.
what? I'm a product of the public education system, and it
you
sucks.
don't think it's so hot?
It sucks. Yeah.
When you moved to Los Angeles, you were briefly involved in a cult.
Well, it wasn't one of the big famous ones. It was just a couple who taught sort of vegetarianism and mixed in a lot of metaphysics. And
ever been tempted since to kind of go into something? And
no, in fact, it's really done the opposite with me. I just started being able to go back into health food stores about a year ago, or like the smell of incense will send me. I am so sensitive to anything that even smells of cult. Yeah, I have a very low threshold for anything like that.
Makes you go just the other way.
Just the other way, and so as a result of that, I consequently don't believe in anything. But
do you know that you're beautiful?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes on
you
a
do?
good day.
Oh.
On a good day.
Do you worry about age as an actress?
As I think I worry about it more because I'm an actress than I would if I weren't. Men are allowed to age gracefully and with dignity, and When you're Sean Connery and you're 60 years old, you can be on the cover of People magazine and be the sexiest man alive. There isn't one woman that will happen to.
Will it happen to you when you're 60 years old?
No. Things are changing, but not that rapidly.
Your present best friend, boyfriend, is actor Fisher Stevens. Still? It's been 3 years now.
Going on.
Okay, here come all the questions you hate. You ready?
All right.
All right. Any plans to be married?
Plans? No.
Okay, let me put it another way. Do you want to marry him? Does he want to marry you?
We're not sure. Well, I think neither of us are really sure about marriage, conceptually.
What does he give you?
A lot of fun, a lot of joy, a lot of love, a lot of adventure. He's very unpredictable. He's very amusing. He's very smart.
You were married once to Peter Horton. Are you still friends?
Very good friends. And we just were really young. And I just think that we made such major mistakes in the relationship that were irreparable, I think. You know, and I think when people get married that young, that often happens.
Do you believe in fidelity?
I do believe in that. But conceptually, I wonder sometimes. I just wonder if it's natural. And yet, I believe in those things. So I'm kind of split.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? 43.
With children. Maybe married. Still acting.
Demons all gone?
No. The demons will never be gone. I don't know that I would really want them to be either. I think that you just need to tame them. I think it would be really boring not to have any.
Everything we had read indicates that the thing you hated the most was doing interviews. This interview is now done. How do you feel about interviews?
I think they're fine. I don't hate them anymore. I think that they're fine.
How are you feeling now?
Just fine.
And relieved as can be.
Yes.
At JCPenney, we've changed clothes.
From head to toe.
Top to bottom.
Collar to cuff.
We've changed looks. We've changed.
JCPenney. We've changed patterns and changed colors. We've gotten lighter and brighter.
We've changed. JCPenney.
Younger.
And bolder.
Smaller.
And taller.
We've collected more classics, added more accessories, and broadened the basics.
We've changed our fabrics and changed our footwear.
Our brands have a brand new look.
We've added sports shirts
to sports shirts,
underwear
to underwear. And while we may have changed from our hats to our heels,
one thing remains the same.
Our great values.
And great values are what make us
Your free trial pair of AccuView disposable contact lenses could be
love at first sight.
This is the lens of my life.
The comfort is irresistible.
I love the fact that I don't have to clean them.
And now Johnson & Johnson announces a lens-back guarantee. Try AccuView for 90 days. If they're not the most comfortable lenses you've worn, we'll replace your current lenses free.
It's better than love at first sight, because it's guaranteed to last.
Take me, I'm yours.
Ask your eye care professional if AccuView or SureView is right for you.
The technology didn't come from Germany. It didn't come from Japan. The technology that made this powerful sedan the most fuel-efficient V8 luxury car you can own came from Lincoln. Lincoln Town Car. what a luxury car should be.
Tuesday, baby's on the way.
Raising a baby daughter is going to be the most wonderful experience of my life.
She must have lost a lot of blood.
Roseanne. Then, the reviews are in. The Post called Room for Two the sitcom for the 90s.
This is the life, kid.
And the Star Ledger said it was warm, funny, wonderful.
Mom, it doesn't get any better than this.
The ratings are in, too. Room for Two is the highest-rated premiere of any new show this year.
This is big, huh?
It's Linda Lavin in Room for Two following Roseanne, America's Funniest Moms, Tuesday.
The Barbara Walters Special will continue in a moment.
For the first time, an emergency room doctor who was with JFK when he died breaks his silence.
And the rest of my life, I will always know he was shot from the front.
Startling new information. Watch 2020 Friday.
Bank One banker Shelley Norman usually spends Thanksgiving Day in her kitchen.
When's Mommy coming home?
1 year, she spent it at the bank. Before a local reserve unit left for Desert Shield, they needed help getting finances in order.
And good luck to you.
Put some elbow grease in there.
This loan won't be a problem, Corporal.
At Bank One, we'll do whatever it takes to help you get a loan, even if it means going above and beyond the call of duty.
The new Q104. Why did you make the switch?
Hey, if I could custom design my own radio station, Q104 would be it.
104 has the best variety. Less talk, no rap.
They play a lot more music than anybody else.
Yeah, better variety, too.
The new Q104.
It's my kind of music. It's from the 80s and today.
Mossman's backstage look at the Oscars.
Plus tax tips for working parents Tuesday.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
There are very few performances in which an actor takes a courageous and terrifying leap into the darkness of the human soul and manages to take the movie audience right along with him. Such is the case with Dr. Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter, as portrayed by Anthony Hopkins, a Best Actor nominee tonight for The Silence of the Lambs.
I'm offering you a psychological profile of Buffalo Bill based on the case evidence. I'll help you catch him, Clarice.
When an actor captures a monster with such precision, you can't help but wonder about the actor himself. One clue may be in this melancholy tune. Hopkins wrote it when he was only 14. His mother and father labored in their small bakery and worried that their son Tony was the saddest, slowest child in school. He seemed to have no talent other than that of impersonating his instructors. There was little opportunity in the small Welsh village of Port Talbot, but a brief encounter with Richard Burton, a local hero, finally inspired young Tony to pursue acting. He says if he hadn't, he'd have surely gone mad. After serving 2 years in the British Army, Hopkins was accepted at London's famed Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. After 2 years there, he landed roles in a few plays and finally found himself in front of Laurence Olivier in an audition for the National Theatre Company, which was performing here at London's famous Old Vic Theatre.
It brings back some scary memories, really. My first night here, having to run across the stage, and Laurence Olivier was here. It's Laurence Olivier's Othello, and I spoke the wrong lines. I came on as a messenger, and I spoke Iago's lines instead.
He chose to audition a scene from Othello, the very play Olivier was performing at the time. Whether it was Antony's talent or audacity that impressed Olivier isn't clear, but at age 29, he won a place in the most prestigious theatre company in the world. Although he has continued to work successfully in theatre over the years, he doesn't have the traditional English actor's appetite for the stage. Early on, he found greener pastures in Hollywood.
Would you say, Father, that I have the makings of a king? Splendid king. I won't trade off
His first film was a big one. He played Richard the Lionhearted opposite Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn in The Lion in Winter. Acting in movies suited him. He went on to make numerous films. Americans probably best remember him as the deranged ventriloquist in Magic.
Hello,
everybody. This is Mrs. Norman Maine. My mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.
Stand up. Turn around. Turn around.
Or the philanthropic Victorian doctor in The Elephant Man. Like many British actors, he's not a snob about television. He's played everything from potboilers like Hollywood Wives to more distinctive projects like The Bunker, for which he won an Emmy for his portrayal of Adolf Hitler.
The war is not lost! The war is not lost! The war will never be lost!
Here we go. This is my secret garden.
Ironically, Anthony's recent commercial success came to him only after he'd given up living in Hollywood and moved home. His life today is quiet. With key in hand, he can take a nice walk in the center of London in his private neighborhood garden. Not that he craves privacy. He insists that he is rarely recognized on public streets. The new beard he has grown for the upcoming film, Bram Stoker's Dracula, probably helps. Currently, Hopkins can be seen in the much-acclaimed film Howard's End. At age 54, he has, he says, overcome most of his demons. They came in the form of alcohol and cost him a first marriage from which came his only child, Abigail. He says he owes his salvation to his no-nonsense wife of nearly 20 years, Jenny. But certainly Hopkins hasn't left his demons behind. He has simply channeled them into his work.
Jonathan Demme was such a great director to work with. He said, how do you want to be discovered in the first scene? I said, well, actually, as Jodie's coming down the corridor, down the passageway to see me, I said, I'd like to be seen standing there, looking straight at her as she comes into contact with me. He said, wow, that's a bit odd. Why would you know that? I said, because I think Lecter knows everything. He can smell everything. She comes down the corridor, and he says, good morning. Now, that's terrifying.
Good morning.
When you were offered the part of Hannibal, did you know, wow, this is going to be a part that's really going to make it for me?
Yes, I knew it was going to be one of those big hit movies as soon as I read it. And it was a part of a lifetime, really. It was really one of those. And I knew how to play it. As soon as I got it, I thought, it fused in my mind that I know how to play this part. I know him. Well, I heard the voice and I could sense what he was about. I knew how he moved, I knew how he looked, and I could sense his stillness and the power of his brain.
If you can do it that easily, do it for me now.
Why do you want to know, Barbara? I have to catch him, Clary. I really do. It's something to do with the frightening, mesmeric power of stillness that I saw in him, and I thought, he's a killer brain. Do you remember the film 2001? Kubrick's film, and there was Hal the computer, when he said, good evening, Dave. And I thought, that's Lecter as well. He's this shadowy figure in the darkness, the end of a long tunnel, and he's everyone's nightmare, the bogeyman or the boogeyman. And he responded to something that always frightened me as a child, which is stillness and darkness. And so it was like a reflection of something I can't even remember what it's about, but something to do with my own dreams when I was a child.
Take me back to the childhood. This intelligent man today, who was known as almost the dumbest kid in class.
Yeah. I was an only child, and I was a deeply lonely, isolated child. And at school, my first day at school, I remember so clearly because I have a pictorial memory, and I remember the absolute horror of being with other children. And this completely introverted, frightened, isolated child with no friends at all. I couldn't play with other kids. They didn't want to play with me. And I was very angry for most of my sort of adolescent years and in early adult years because I thought, I've got to show them. I mean, them, in quotes, they were always the enemy. And I realize now that the enemy was within me. You know, it was something in me that was malfunctioning. And so through aggression and ambition, I drove myself to become an actor.
Most actors will say, I didn't care about being famous, I didn't want to be a movie star, I wanted to be an actor. You say,
not for me, no. I just wanted to be rich and famous. I really wanted to be very successful. I don't quite believe people. Maybe there are some odd people who want to just be. Why be an actor? I mean, I'm a show-off. I'm an exhibitionist, I suppose.
You could have stayed on the stage. You could have, and there are those who say that you would have been England's greatest modern actor.
Yeah.
But you left and went into films. Why?
That's all I ever wanted to do. I was born in the same town as Richard Burton. And as I said, I was not too swift as a child, you know, I wasn't too bright. And I went and asked Burton, I'm digressing a bit, but I went and asked Burton for his autograph. And I'll never forget this. It was the most meaningful moment of my life because I walked into this little house, this terraced house up in Craddock Street in Port Talbot. And his sister answered the door, and I said, "This is Richard Burton, and I'd like his autograph." And I walked in, and who should be sitting at the table but his first wife, Sybil, who I'm now very close friends with. He says, "What do you want?" So he signed my autograph and had a chat with me. And I was looking at him, I thought, my God, isn't this amazing to be this sort of person now? What it must be like to be in his skin. And as I was walking down the street, down the incline, back to the place where I lived in Taibach, which is a little kind of village in Port Talbot, my father had a baker shop. I remember stopping and thinking, I've got to get out of this place. I've got to get away from what I am. Whatever that is, I've got to become something different to my cousins and my colleagues in school. I've got to become something different. I've got to get out of this nightmare that I'm in.
I was talking to a drama critic here in London.
Yeah.
And asked about you. And he said, well, the interesting thing about Anthony Hopkins is A, he's a great actor, and B, he overcame the most horrendous problem.
Oh, well, are you talking about drink?
Yeah.
The alcohol?
Not just a little drink.
Oh, no, I was a falling gun round. Well, I look back on it, I was supposed to be, I always paint myself into a dramatic picture that I was pretty wild. Actually, what I was pretty boring. I mean, it's just a nuisance. But I was in serious trouble with the old alcohol, because I'm an alcoholic.
Did you drink when you were working?
Oh, yes.
While you were acting, you were drunk?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
could learn your lines, could get up there and everything?
Oh, yeah. But then as the years went by and, you know, it gathers momentum and it's progressive, I suppose. I don't know what the medical condition is. And I was in Los Angeles when I finally reached the end. I burnt out everything and I knew that I was going to lose everything I cherished. My career, my wife, my home, my life. And it was the most astounding moment. It was 1975 when I stood on someone's doorstep after a party, a raucous party, and I realized that I was an alcoholic and I was finished.
Just came to you?
Yeah. And I said, I need help to this friend of mine, and suddenly the light came on in my head. It was like a pilot light. And it was like a flashback. I said, I realized that all the trouble in my life had its center in alcoholism or something inside me. And I realized that, not because I'm smart or clever, because I'm not, but intuitively I understood that there was something wrong deep inside me. There was something out of kilter long before I started to drink. And I've never wanted to drink since then. Which is the most ever.
Never wanted to? It isn't as if you have to fight it every day?
No. Most astounding phenomenon in my life. And it's the most significant thing that ever happened to me.
Tell me about your wife.
Jenny.
Jenny.
Well, she's terrific. She's completely opposite to me. She's as weird to me as I must be to her because she's very moderate. I think she suffers from terminal moderation. She's very calm and very stable and very
How
relaxed.
has she stood you?
God knows. I don't know. I ask her that sometimes. I say, how the hell did you get married to me? And she said, well, you know, that's the way it was. We're very close to each other and she loves me, I love her. And it's okay. Everything seems... I don't think of anything else that it was the way it was meant to be, I think.
You do impersonations, I hear. That
Yeah.
you can do Olivier and Brando, and can you do a few? Do you want to do them and not see if I can guess them, or do you want me to tell you? Okay.
Coming to my home the day of my daughter's wedding, you say,
Perfect.
Godfather, you want me? You know?
Terrific.
That's Marlon Brando.
I know that's Marlon Brando.
Rod Steiger, I can do Rod Steiger. You are nothing. I tell you, my friend, Brando and I, we didn't get on. That's my friend Rod Steiger.
Olivier.
Olivia? I'm not dead yet, I tell you. Oh, I took by the throat the circumcised dog and smoked him thus.
Gielgud.
Ah, yes, Gielgud. It's wonderful. Of course, I mean, you've done very well. I saw that awful, disgusting film of yours, Hands of the Lambs. It terrified me. I couldn't see it again. But,
You know, you could have a whole career.
I know.
Do you realize if you give this up, you could go in one of the comedy clubs?
Rich Little.
As we conclude this interview, which for me has just been a joy, really has.
Thank you.
Would you do my favorite line from Silence of the Lambs? You know the one?
Yes. Wow. I wish we could spend more time together, Barbara. I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
I live with my time. Progress, performance. Now to visibly reduce the appearance of wrinkles, I've discovered new Plenitude Advanced Wrinkle Defense Cream from L'Oreal.
Silky Light Advanced Wrinkle Defense Cream reduces the appearance of lines and wrinkles so skin looks noticeably smoother.
Today, my wrinkles appear reduced. With daily use, my skin will look smoother, more radiant tomorrow.
New Plenitude Advanced Wrinkle Defense Cream from L'Oreal to reduce the signs of aging.
This brings back memories. Oh, these are great.
What's this remind you of?
Tastes like vanilla.
Senior trip.
Paris. That cafe. Yeah.
Rich, creamy tasting coffee with a hint of vanilla flavor. French Vanilla Cafe.
I love this coffee.
From General Foods International Coffees.
I loved that waiter. Jean-Luc.
Moments of your life.
Today, Catherine Elizabeth Cook will learn about caring. From your touch and the pure soft powder that gently soothes and comforts.
Isn't that nice?
No baby powder absorbs better than Johnson's Baby Pure Cornstarch Powder.
Mommy's baby.
Small wonder more hospitals use it on their babies. Johnson's. It feels like love.
I believe babe is a four-letter word.
I believe that the person who said winning isn't everything never won anything.
I believe sweat is sexy.
I don't believe in liposuction. I don't believe blondes have more fun.
I believe in mass transit.
I believe you should go big or stay home. I believe there's an athlete in all of us.
Motion pictures' biggest stars come out for Hollywood's most thrilling countdown.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Expect the unexpected when Billy Crystal hosts the 64th Annual Academy Awards live next.
This week, Ohio ends general assistance welfare. What effect will that have on homelessness, on soup kitchens, and emergency shelters? And is welfare a proven failure? I'm Bill Scheel in Detroit. Michigan took similar action last year. What's the effect been here? Watch Killing Welfare, our cover story, tonight at 11:15 on News Channel 5.
Hello, I'm Wilma Smith. David Moss will be back from Hollywood and the Oscars with a look at the winners and the losers and a wrap-up of tonight's awards tomorrow on Live on 5.
Tell me you like my hat.
You're not wearing a hat.
Say it. Say you like my hat.
You're not wearing a hat.
Say it.
The film is called Far and Away. It's a widescreen epic that captures late 19th century Ireland, Boston, and Oklahoma. These days in Hollywood, an expensive period film in which the actors speak with Irish accents would be considered risky, but no one seems too worried. It stars Tom Cruise. He was born in Syracuse, New York, but he moved often and could call half a dozen cities home. When Tom was 12, his parents divorced, and his mother, Mary Lee, raised him and his 3 sisters with little money and no outside help. He was first bitten by the acting bug at New Jersey's Glen Ridge High School. He had one of the leads in Guys and Dolls. Shortly after graduation, he got a break. An actor originally cast for a pivotal supporting role in the movie Taps was fired at the last moment. Tom, who already had a bit part in the film, took his place.
It's beautiful, man. Beautiful.
As a result, he caught the critics' attention and his career caught fire. Just 2 years later, he was offered the role of a lifetime.
Just take those old records on the shelf.
Everybody remembers the underwear dance in the smash film Risky Business. But the truth is that the movie worked because Tom displayed the sort of sensitivity rarely present in an actor of his few years. Women were taken with him instantly. And the men were soon to follow. By the time he made Top Gun in 1986, he could call his own shots, and there was a waiting line to work with him. No one picks movies better than Tom Cruise. He has held his own alongside greats like Paul Newman in The Color of Money or Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. And he takes chances that pay off.
You want to burn the flag? Huh, Tommy? What is it? You want to bring down this country? Love it or leave it, Tommy. You know, you could just love it or leave it.
He was nominated for an Oscar for Born on the 4th of July. And he seems to enjoy moving from artistic ventures like that to more mainstream films like Days of Thunder. It was on this film that he met Australian-born Nicole Kidman. They seem to enjoy working together. Their relationship in that upcoming film, far and away, is thoroughly charming.
Shannon Christie. You never gave up. You know what you wanted back in Ireland. And look at you.
In one scene, Tom is called upon to express his admiration for her. It appears to be no act.
You're a corker, Shannon. You're a corker, you are.
Nicole and Tom were married on Christmas Eve in 1990. And so far, the relationship seems to be strong enough to weather the stormy public waters of two high-profile careers. Tom has been down this road before. His previous marriage to actress Mimi Rogers ended in divorce after 3 years.
I love stories like that.
Yeah. This year, Tom Cruise turns 30. The man everyone describes as intense and driven seems more comfortable in his superstar skin these days. Nicole Kidman may have something to do with that. You work with your wife in this film, yes. Nicole Kidman. Yes. Now, tell me, does it make a love scene more exciting or less? I mean, you can do this at home at night. You don't have to do this on the... What, is the tension there?
Well, with Nicole, it's always very exciting.
Tell us about it.
I mean, I don't know if it makes it, you know, I mean, it's my wife, so, and, but it's also, the interesting thing about Nicole is that she can surprise me. You know, we'd rehearse, and I've seen her develop this character and work on it, and then all of a sudden she just creates some new moment, and she becomes that character, and it was, that's exciting to see.
I think you're in love.
Yeah, I am.
We hear rumors that she's having a baby. Rumors?
I know, rumors. No, she's not pregnant. And people come up to us and congratulate us, and unfortunately we have to say, look, you know, I'm sorry, you know, she's not pregnant. They get a little embarrassed.
Would you like to have children?
Yeah, I would like to have children. I mean, we're not really trying right now, but in the future I do see myself holding a little bambino. Little Kidman Cruise.
Tell me about your childhood. Your mother sounds like a terrific.
Yeah, she is.
And you're crazy about your mother.
Yeah, I love my mother. I love her. You can see my mother smile, and she just, you're the only person in the world, you know.
Do you have your mother smile? It's a great smile.
You know, yeah, I think I do, yeah. Yeah. I think hers is more beautiful.
Now tell me about your father. When you were 12 years old, and in a family of mostly sisters, and close to your father, he and your mother got divorced.
Yes. My father had not been working for a while. My mother was supporting the family, and I think, you know, between the two of them, it was, there were some, you know, there were conflicts on how we were to be raised. And so, you know, my mother made the right decision. And I mean, it's like an adventure story. We left in the middle of the night after in Canada when the separation papers were signed, and you know, my mother decided that we had to, you know, she wanted to go back to Kentucky and be with the family, and so we left.
And you didn't see him for years?
Yes.
Did you hear from him? Did he send, you know, letters, Christmas presents, money to the kids, anything?
No.
No.
No. And I didn't understand that. But it brought us together, you know. There was a purpose that we had in trying to really survive and do something with our lives. I mean, she used to take me in front of the mirror. I mean, and say, look at yourself. You know, I'd do something wrong, or I was always getting into trouble at times. And she'd look in the mirror, and she'd say, now, how do you feel about that guy? What are you going to do, you know? What are you know, when you're growing up, you got to be able to look in that mirror and feel good about that guy that you're staring at, you know?
When she said, what do you want to do? Did you say, I don't know?
I always felt I wanted to be a good person. And I wanted to do the best, and whatever I decided to do, to be the best that I could be.
Your father died of cancer 8 years ago.
Yes.
Did you make your peace with your father before he died?
Yes, I did. You know, there was a point, a level that we reached before he died, but I really never got to sit down and talk to him. You know, he was actually in the hospital, and he said, "Look, when I get out of here, we'll go out and we'll have a beer, and we'll talk about everything." And then he died.
You have 2 older sisters?
Yes.
And 1 younger sister?
Yes.
So is that wonderful growing up with all those women, or did they drive you crazy? Or are you the most spoiled kid in
That's
America?
what I hear all the time. No. Oh, jeez.
God, all these sisters say he's wonderful. No, he's better than that.
I mean, it was great. What can I say? It was great. You know, I had 4 women, my mother and these 3 girls who were, you know, incredible women, and really, we had a great time. We had a great time.
Did your sisters think you were handsome? Did their friends think you were handsome? Did you know you were good looking? The truth.
I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't really, you know, I remember my sister and her friends, they would meet after school, and, you know, they'd talk about boys or whatnot, and sometimes they would choose me to practice kissing on, you know, because they needed someone to practice on. So that bell rang, and I was at a dead sprint for a couple of weeks. You know?
The little girlfriends would come home and say, pucker up and let me...
Oh yeah, they put me on the bathroom sink, and they take turns closing the door and going in there.
And kissing you?
And kissing me.
You were how old?
I think I was about 8 years old, you know.
That's the good side. There was also in your family dyslexia. You were dyslexic?
Yes. And I didn't, you know, it was something that I felt that I had to hide.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand. Didn't and don't.
And didn't and don't. And it was embarrassing for me.
It means that you see numbers backwards, you have trouble reading.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, at that point, I couldn't remember, you know, my right hand from my left hand. I get to the bottom of the page, and, you know, letters were turned backwards. And actually, this is something that I have dealt with. And it was something that was very embarrassing and very traumatic at times, because it's bad enough going in as a new school. I did. But there's actually, you know, there is something that is really, like, remedied that, which is, when I know you're going to ask me, I don't know if you are or not, but about Scientology, which is,
yes.
L. Ron Hubbard has a technology.
L. Ron Hubbard was the founder of the Church of Scientology.
Yeah, Church of Scientology.
You are a member of the Church of Scientology.
Yes. The thing is that he's got, there's a study technology that he developed that, and I took the course on it, and it really basically teaches someone how to study. And I took this course, and I apply that technology, you know, when I study and when I read and when I work on things, and I realize that I'm not dyslexic. And it was actually, you know, it actually has changed my life in that regard, because I am now able to study and learn at such a rapid, high rate, and my comprehension is absolutely incredible.
Tom, let me try to understand. The Church of Scientology, is this something that feeds you spiritually, or is it a technique that just helps your mind? Is it a religion?
Yeah, I mean, by definition, it is a religion.
And is it for you? Does it help you in a spiritual way?
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not a matter of being fed something. And it is not someone telling you how to live your life. It is not someone feeding you what is real for them. It is what is real for you. It is a self-exploration.
Does it bother you that it is considered so controversial, that it is considered a cult, that it has been investigated? I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
No, it doesn't. For me, I don't care. It doesn't affect me at all. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever anybody thinks or what they don't know, I know when I know.
Things are so good now, but not too long ago, there is something that must have been very painful, and that is the divorce for Mimi Rogers. You married when you were 24. Was it just too young?
I don't know. I hate to say that because there's a lot of young people that should be together, and I think anyone who's been through that, and you marry, and then there's, you realize you've got to confront, geez, maybe this isn't going to work, and that's always a very difficult thing for anyone to confront. I think anyone who's been through it on any level understands that, and so yeah, but I really, I wish her well. I wish her great success.
Are you friends?
And happiness. Well, we don't talk really. I mean, don't talk at all. I haven't spoken to her in a couple of years, but I do wish her well. I understand so much more about myself and so much more about a relationship. I mean, I could speak specifically about Nick and I, how we feel about our lives. I mean, the support we give each other.
Not to compete, but to support?
Oh, and that's totally to support.
Yeah. When you did The Color of Money with Paul Newman, he gave you some advice.
Yeah, give me a lot of advice.
What did he say? Kid, he said?
Yeah, he used to call me, still does, hey, kid, every time I talk to him. I said, I'm 29 years old, Paul, He said, he said, do your work. I mean, he gave me a lot of great advice. I mean, that man he's just, he said, really don't believe what they write about you, and don't take note of that. Don't let it upset you. You do what you do, and you live your life, and enjoy yourself. I didn't realize that you could actually work all day and then go home and have a dinner with your friends. And, I used to go over to Newman's and we'd have dinner. It was a ball. I had a blast. And then, really, this past year, year and a half, I started, and it's not that I can do both, I realized. I can really work hard and still enjoy, my friends.
You talk about wanting to do the right thing, be a good person. Do you now? Are you now?
A good person?
Yeah.
I feel I am. I feel happy with myself. I mean, when I look in the mirror, I feel good about myself, Yeah, I can say I feel good about myself. I do. And I'd wish that on anyone.
Only 2 American-made luxury automobiles provide both driver and passenger side airbags. One of them is a Lincoln. And the other one is a Lincoln. With Lincoln, it's easy to be on the safe side. Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
In just 1 year, over 5 million people have joined MCI Friends and Family.
You get the 20% savings on any phone call that you make to a member of your circle.
They joined without even knowing we would also offer big international savings and a free calling card to save them the extra 20% even on calls home. They joined without knowing of the double savings, 40% during May. You have one advantage over them. You know how good Friends and Family is before you join. Call MCI. Join the bandwagon.
Welcome to the Olympic Games.
People everywhere.
Come on, Peanut. Whoa! Let's make some more friends. Whee! I'm pure milk chocolate.
And I'm milk chocolate with a fresh roasted peanut inside.
And we're both covered in a thin candy shell. Let's go!
The milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
M&M's can.
Worldwide sponsor the 1992 Olympic Games.
Now that I perm my hair, it needs special care.
Introducing Permavive Technicare by L'Oreal. Shampoos, conditioners, treatments with a unique polymer complex. A new science to bring back the healthy feel and help keep curls curling. Permavive, re-energizing, replenishing, rebalancing.
Healthy curls, healthy hair.
New Permavive Technicare by L'Oreal. Advanced technology perm care.
Wednesday, young Indy goes to war in Africa,
I won't let you down.
where he leads a secret mission and ends up with a handful of trouble.
He can't care for himself. If we leave him here, he'll die.
The adventures continue on the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles Wednesday. Tales of mystery,
I'd like to report a murder.
suspense,
He's dangerous.
so am I, and murder.
I never said anything about killing her.
Victoria Principal in Seduction. 3 Tales from the Inner Sanctum, Sunday.
The Barbara Walters Special. Brought to you by new L'Oreal Permavive Technicare. Advanced Technology Perm Care. L'Oreal Plenitude Advanced Wrinkle Defense Cream. And L'Oreal Preference Hair Color.
Our Academy Award Night special is always my favorite. After all, where else could I get away with wearing a dress like this? So, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everyone. And good night.
Wednesday, a strike divides friends and family.
Come home with me.
No, I can't. This is my idea.
You can't stay here with all these men.
I'm trying to keep 100 men alive. Stay low, stay quiet, and stay put.
Homefront.
Stop.
Wednesday.
An ABC News brief now from New York.